This episode is brought to you in collaboration with Stamford Botanics, your go-to destination for beautiful, thriving plants. Visit stamfordbotanics.co.uk to explore their collection. Welcome to Exist Better Conscious Conversations. Today I have Reiki and Seichem Master Lynn Brown on the podcast, and this is an amazing conversation. Lynn is a wonderful energy healer and intuitive who I've been to myself, and I trained in Reiki level 1 with her. She is amazing, and I really hope you enjoy this conversation. Welcome, Lynn. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you. It's lovely to be here.
So you are a Reiki and Seichem master.
That's right, yes.
Yeah. And intuitive.
Yes.
Yes. And I was wondering if you could explain for our listeners, what is Reiki, first of all?
Okay. Well, Reiki is, it translates into life force, universal life force energy. And it is an ancient Japanese healing system that has been rediscovered in the late 20th century, and it involves putting energy back. It's all energy healing, so it's rebalancing our bodies, so we lose some of the pureness that we were born with. Every time we go through negative emotions, negative situations, it all has an effect on us, and some people are completely naturally able to rebalance themselves. It just happens automatically, but most of us aren't, and we've forgotten our own natural abilities to self-heal, and Reiki just reawakens that ability. So it's the channeling of life force energies into the body to find the areas that are blocked or are maybe not blocked yet, or are little patches of energy that just need clearing and rebalancing, so that we can feel balanced and able to move forward. So that's really, really what it's all about.
Yeah, I love that, and I've experienced it with you.
Yes, you have,
so
yes.
And I always feel amazing afterwards. So are you working with the chakra system?
I do. Yes, you don't have to.
You don't have
when
to.
You're trained to do it. There's absolutely, it's just pure Reiki.
Okay.
But over the years, because I've been doing this since as a business since 2007, but involved with it myself since early 2000s. I've sort of developed as I've gone along. I've found things that I've felt increase and support it, and until I've got to a point now where I feel like it's the best that I can possibly do. And by focusing on the chakras, because each of the 7 main chakras correspond to all of our body in its entirety, every system is connected to each of those 7. Then by focusing on those, I know that I'm covering the entire body.
Yeah.
I'm not missing anything. I'm treating people for an hour. If I was to just scan and find areas that I feel that I need to work on, I might not get them all in the hour. But if I focus on the 7 chakras, I feel that gives me extra. Gives me the extra I need to cover all areas in a session. Yeah.
That completely makes sense.
Yeah.
And so for anybody that hasn't had Reiki before, what are you doing in the session?
Okay. Well, it's they lay down, and what I want from then is just to completely relax. Some people, that's why they've come, because they have an inability to relax, but as relaxed as they can possibly be. So it's a nice calming environment. There's nice music playing. It's nice and warm, and they're nice and comfortable and warm. So I just want them to be able to relax as much as possible. And then I am starting at the head, just laying my hands on them, starting from the head and moving around each of the chakras and finishing at the bottom of the final chakra, and then moving to the feet to end. So we're covering the whole body, but it's very soothing. It's and while I'm doing that, I'm channeling that life force energy through me and into them. I'm not giving them my energy. I'm not taking their blockages or anything personally. It's a really nice flow of energy coming through, and and lots of people that experience it very differently. So some people will see colours. They'll be like, I could see this colour and it changed to that, or I had this sensation, there was this cold or this hot or a sudden pain that then disappeared. You know, there's all sorts of experiences that people have that take them by surprise, actually, because they're not, if they're new to it, they just don't know what to expect, never had anything like that before. And it's kind of reassuring for them because they think, well, something happened because I've never experienced that before. You know, I would say worst case scenario, they've had an hour, even if they don't sense anything, they've had an hour of complete relaxation. Whereas they would never give that to themselves. You know, when can you do that? You say, right, I'm going to give myself an hour. Your head just goes, oh, I'll just do this, I'll just do that. You're thinking about your shopping list or whatever. Whereas this is just a complete hour of relaxation, worst case scenario. And then everything else is a bonus on top of it.
And it's different every time as well, you know, because I mean, I've been to you a lot. And it is different every single time. And you do feel things. And, you know, I've seen colours, you know, my third eye. And there was that time where we both had the same, you know, vision experience where it was like we both saw that we were underwater.
I was going to say, was it the water one? Yes.
It was amazing. And there's been a couple of times like that. So it's pretty magical as well at times.
It is. And it's not instant. You know, you're going in and you're finding things. So I might go to one area and clear what is there, what I can see today. But we're layers, aren't we?
Totally.
There's always something underneath that is the reason for the thing that is visible. And so sometimes the next time you come, it's the next layer that we're clearing, you know, that's allowed it to come up until we can clear it all and you know, balance it all.
And I suppose it's not just for people, you know, obviously it's very beneficial for people that have, you know, maybe something serious going on or have had some trauma or, you know, but it's all, or maybe they're very down, but it's also anyone can go, can't they?
Absolutely,
for rebalancing and kind of...
I have people that come like once a fortnight because they're dealing with difficult situations in their life. So maybe they've got a partner that's going through a serious illness and they're supporting them, and they come to me just to make sure they stay in balance so that they can continue to support that person, you know, in a good place, and they're not getting into a bad place themselves. So we do have that just for that, but majority of people come because mainly stress, depression, anxiety, they're the main ones why people come.
Really?
You know, that's the vast majority through the door is people struggling with things like that. Loss of purpose, don't know what they're doing, you know, a lot of women get to a point in their life where they're just sort of, I've done all of this, I've you know, but I've just come to a point where I don't know what's next. I just don't know, you know, they don't know who they are. You know, like when your kids have left home or whatever, who am I now? You know, you are still mum, but not in the same way. So that comes quite a lot as well, you know, trying to find their way forward. So that's interesting.
Wow, I love that. And it helps.
It does help. It does help. And actually the last... not that I've never had men before. I have over the years, but I've got to say it's usually because their partners have been and they've said, you need to go.
Like
you need
James.
to go see him. And they come, you know, dutifully come along, but, you know, they're very like, I don't know why I'm here kind of thing. And they'll get something out of it, but they're not going to become a regular usually. But in the last couple of years, the men that have come forward have come on their own accord. They've heard about it. They know what they want to achieve. They know how they want to, you know, what they're coming to me for. They may never have had it, but they've been doing research themselves and it's come up, you know, Reiki. I don't know what it is, but I feel like this is my next step kind of thing. And that is so powerful because they're there because they want to be there. And therefore they're totally engaging. You know, it's not a one-way street, whoever comes, you know, it's not you come in with this thing and I take it all away and you go out feeling balanced and lovely. If you treat it like that, you're going to have to keep on coming back because I'm going to have to keep doing that to you. Because if you go back into your own life doing exactly the same things, exactly the same thing is going to happen again. So I always say it's like a partnership in that I'm going to, you know, you're going to relax and allow me to do my job. And then afterwards, I take notes all the way through and we talk it through. Look, I found this here and I think it feels like it's this. Does this make sense to you? Have you got a problem in this area of your life, this, that and the other? We talk it all through, but I give advice about, look, I've cleared this, but this is how you need to keep it clear. The classic one is throat. Yeah. So if the throat chakra is blocked, it's usually, it could be listening, it could be speaking, but usually it is because we've got something that we want to say, but we can't say it because it would cause problems or it would hurt somebody. So we don't say it, we just keep it. And it's energy. Our thoughts, our words, everything is energy.
Yeah.
And keeping that in is causing a block somewhere. So, if I find that and I clear that, I'll talk to them about other ways of clearing that. Just as long as it's out of you, write it down. Yeah. Write that, if it's a person, write them a letter. You don't need to give it to them. You can shred it, burn it, throw it away, whatever. But it's out of you. And sometimes that's enough to make you feel you've had your say. It's out of you. So, it's...
wow. It's like when you want to cry.
Yes.
And say you're not letting yourself and it becomes all tight.
It feels like a lump.
And it feels like a lump in your throat.
Yeah.
It's like the energy that you need to release, you're holding it back.
Yeah.
And it's tightening everything. It's sort of like the same, similar, like the body's tightening, but the energy's being
the same,
stifled.
Yeah, and people will say like they've had a cough. I've had this cough for months and months and I feel fine, but it's, and you think, right, okay, let's have a look and see what's there. But it's very often, there's something inside that you're not letting out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I suppose with the Reiki, it's energy work and you're, balancing the body.
Yeah.
So then how would you explain Seichem, that element?
Seichem. Okay, so Seichem is also an ancient healing system, but it's an Egyptian one. And it is 4 elements. So it represents the 4 elements: earth, air, fire, water, all 4 of those. So you're able to go with Seichem, you can go all the way through the body into the aura and everything. So when you're working with Seichem, you're working with the entire energetic body and physical body, everything, emotional, the whole lot. So by working with it, it covers absolutely everything. And Reiki is earth energy, so it fits in beautifully. So Reiki is the earth energy, Seichem are the others. So Seichem makes it more powerful.
It's like they're meant to be together.
Absolutely, yeah. And rediscovered, a long time apart of each other. But it, excuse me, but it does, it is beautiful together. I very rarely work with just Reiki. The only occasions that I would dial it back and only use Reiki is if you've got somebody that's really gentle, really delicate, is a better word, that you could build up on it, but to begin with you need to be just that little bit gentler to ease them in. They're probably in quite a difficult state to begin with, and then you'd build on it gradually. It rarely happens, it's all very gentle energy. And if you can use it all straight away, that's more beneficial for them. But it's just takes it to a really bigger level of healing.
And do you feel it differently?
Yes, that's probably the difference between when people feel like tingling and cold, and that's all the elements. You might feel hot or cold, you've got the fire, you've got, some people feel waves, and that can be like the water element. It sort of brings in different sensations for the client. And I can't remember now because I've so many years of working with both of them together. I can't remember how it feels different. It's a very relaxing, gentle. I mean, it's relaxing for me doing them anyway because I love it. Yeah. But it's a very quiet treatment if it's just Reiki. It's not. There's not so much information coming.
Oh, okay.
You're not picking up quite as much because you're not going into the aura. You're not going into absolutely everything with the Reiki. That's the way I experience it.
So it's deeper.
Much deeper.
Wow.
Yeah, much, much deeper. And you can, because I work with crystals as well, I do crystal healing, but and I offer up something called intuitive healing as well, which is it just allows me to go through that person's body and find out exactly what they need, and then I can go to each area of their body and using the actual modalities, healing modalities that I need to. It might be source energy, it might be crystal healing, could be auric healing. You know, it's just a combination of all of those things that is absolutely bespoke to that person and exactly what they need. So that's you know, not the first session. I'd always do just the Reiki and Seichem to begin with, just to get so that person gets the feel for my energy as well as I get the feeling for theirs. You know, it's always a nice introduction, but then from there we might go, oh, let's go a bit deeper, you know, with this.
And you also, you know, you do get messages at times when you're doing it.
Yes.
And you take notes, as you were saying earlier. You take notes.
Do, yeah.
Anything that, you know, kind of there was an issue with, but then also there are some messages as well.
Sometimes there's a specific message, now and again. But it's kind of this, when I do all my connections and connecting in at the beginning and I'm sitting at somebody's head, I'm sort of connecting in with them, connecting in with my guides and theirs as well, if asking for them to come forward. And, you know, sometimes there is, you know, I'll find out why their guides are with them, you know, why are you their guardian angel or whoever's come forward, you know, and it could be because there's a past life link or something like that. So there's that kind of introduction to them. But then when we get working, it's sort of questions. Oh, you know, I found something here. What does this relate to? You know, and then it's not like I can see them, but it's not like a conversation. It's like a knowing. It just sort of comes. I get the information and I just write it down what it is.
Okay.
And then you feed it back later. But it's a huge help.
Yeah.
It just helps me to be focused on the areas that I need to be focused on and using the right modalities to help that person forward, because I know exactly what I'm dealing with. It's just so much more powerful. And I only have that in my work. I don't, in my day-to-day, I'm not, you know, communicating or connecting, or I feel protected and connected in my everyday life, but I'm not, you know, it's when I'm in my room and I'm really focused and connected in with healing that it all comes forward. My guides, their guides, you know, it's a very powerful situation and I do like readings, do like the soul plan pathway that I do, which is working my guides and their guides, and I just do it's like a blueprint for your life to get you from where you are at this point in time onto your path, into your purpose. And then, you know, the rest of it is about, you know, specific things that you need to focus on as part of your purpose throughout your life. That takes a long time to do, but it's very exciting document to produce for somebody, because, you know, it's for their entire life, you know. But again, that's working with their guides and getting, you know, that's where a lot of the messages come forward, you know, real clear messages there.
And is that, can you work on that online, or is that in person?
No, that's separate. It takes me about 10 hours to do one of those. Yeah, it takes a long time to put it all together, because it's quite in depth, it's quite detailed, and obviously it's for the whole life. So it takes 10 hours. So I wouldn't want them to sit and
wait for 10 hours waiting.
But they'll fill a form in to tell me, because I need to represent them fully. So I need to know exactly where you are now, how you're feeling, where you are in your life, so that I can properly represent you. If the form doesn't quite give me what I need, we'll have a conversation and I'll just ask a few more questions. And then I'll go away and do the whole plan. And then they get to read it, and then we get together as soon as they want to. After, sometimes they need to absorb it all. They can make notes themselves, and then we sit and we talk it all through, because sometimes it helps when we talk it through to give a better understanding of what was meant. I might have written something down, they don't quite get it, but when we're talking about it, I can remember, I can feel again exactly how that was being given to me. And they can ask more questions. They can come with more, and then I'll go and ask a few more questions to get a bit more clarity for them. And then they take that away and work on it, you know.
Wow, it sounds amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's really good.
Wow.
I had it done myself.
Okay.
Quite a few years ago, but...
And is that how you then got into it?
Yes, yeah, I got taught by the lady that did it, and did it for me. And it's a way, I know where it is, and I don't very often look at it, but I know when I'm drawn to it, it's for a reason. And when you read through it, because it's such a big document, you'll see things you didn't see before. You see it when you need to see it. Do you know what I mean? You'll pick it up and you'll think, oh, I don't remember that being in there. You know, I need to, there's a reason why I've seen that.
Oh, wow, I need to do it.
I need to get that.
Yes,
that's
I
my
need
focus.
to do that.
Yeah, that's my focus. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's next on my list. So I suppose, you know, as you're getting these messages when you're, you know, doing the, you know, treatment and you're in that space, did this only begin when you started working with the energy initially?
No.
Or were you always intuitive?
Yeah, when I was very young, my nana, my mum's mum, used to take care of me while my mum went back to work. And I was very close with her, but she died when I was 2. And I actually do have memories of her prior to that. And when she died, I felt like she never left me. And my mum used to say to me, Nana is always with you. She never said she'll always be in your heart. It was perfect for me, because as a child, whatever your parent says is, you know, they're telling you the truth. And I just accepted it. And I used to talk to her. I never saw her. I just always felt I could talk to her, and I went through my life like that, speaking to her, particularly in times of trouble. I'd be like, oh, Nana, you know, when I was old enough, I had one of her rings. My mum gave me her eternity ring. And that was, you know, it made the connection even stronger, it felt, you know. And then actually early adult life, I discovered that not everybody did this. I just never discussed it because I just thought everybody did it. So it seemed a bit strange that was that for me. But when I did my level 2 Reiki, something massive shifted. And in that course, I suddenly could see, my granddad came forward, who was my nana's husband. He came forward, and I mean, I had my eyes closed because we were meditating and various things, but he was there. I could feel him holding my hand, and I could see him, and I could hear him clearly talking to me. And then after we'd had our attunement, we did some more practicing on each other, practicing sessions. And as soon as I connected in, my father-in-law, who had died just a few weeks before, walked in and gave me a message from my mother-in-law, who I passed that on to, and that was, incredibly relevant to her, what he'd said. And then also a stranger walked in who was obviously connected to the person I was working on. So that was the first time I'd ever seen anybody that didn't relate to me. And then that sort of grew then after that, when I set up my own practice, then obviously then I started to experiment with that. And to begin with, because it was a new practice, it was friends, close friends, and people that I knew that were coming to me. So it was all very comfortable, and it was their guides. And then gradually, as the business has grown, I've got more and more used to dealing with people that I don't know. And now there's no difference between the two. It's really natural.
And it wasn't scary in the beginning when it was other people that started coming in?
No, I've never felt scared about it, which is why I think it's the right time. I would have done if that had happened to me, say, years ago when I was younger and I was speaking to my nana in my way. If I'd have suddenly seen her, I think I'd have been afraid. And I think, it happened at a time very gradually, all naturally. And I've never felt afraid of that.
Wow. And you run courses.
Yes.
You teach.
I do, yeah.
Reiki and Seichem.
I do.
And they're amazing. James and I have done Reiki 1 with you, and it was an amazing course, including so many different elements, like meditation. Could you run through kind of what people could expect?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Initially, I used to do 1-day courses, which was just dealing purely with the Reiki and Seichem. That was, its history, how you attunement to it, where you place your hands, all the different things, lots of practice. But I found that people didn't really keep it up because I realised that that was probably their first step into looking at things in a spiritual way, in a different way, energetic way. And it wasn't enough to stick. So I made it a 2-day course and started to introduce things like the mindful meditation, guided meditations, talking about chakras, learning, what the relevance of those are to us in general, teaching you about using pendulums. And,
I love that.
Yes, and so if there's time, we do like angel and oracle cards, that kind of thing, so they can do the readings themselves, and talking about sacred spaces and bringing all of that stuff together gives you something to hang it onto, that it's a change, it's a life change. You can make those changes. It makes you want to make those changes because you've had 2 days where you felt the benefit of taking that time out for yourself and doing those things, that self-healing, that meditation. And I think they go away with a stronger picture, and it gives them, they really want to make those changes and make it last. So even if they never go and do level 2 and become a practitioner themselves, they've got something, a tool, lots of tools actually, that they can then use in their own life.
Yeah. And you can heal yourself.
Yeah.
Balance
Absolutely.
yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is a great tool to have as well.
It is a great tool. Yeah, it's really important, very important that you're looking after yourself, because you have to put yourself first.
Yeah.
It sounds like a really selfish thing to say, but it's a thing that I learned many years ago. I suddenly realised when I was, doing my own research into ways that I could think or be differently, live differently to have a happier, more peaceful life, that I suddenly got the message that you have to put yourself first. And it felt terrible to begin with, but I have to be filled up. I have to look after myself and meet all of my needs, so that I can just keep on giving as much as necessary to the people that I love and care for. If I don't do that, I deplete myself of my own energy, and resentment starts to set in. So looking after myself is really important, and that's really important in healing as well, that I self-heal on a daily basis, because when I'm channeling the energy, if I haven't looked after myself, it's going to go to me, and it's not going to go to them. So it's a really important, one of the most important things that I learnt, and that I constantly tell other people: you must look after yourself. You must put yourself first. Otherwise, you're going to be of no use. You can't love and care for the people that you want to.
No, you can't. I so agree with this. I say to all my clients as well, you have to be okay.
Yeah.
You have to be in a good place for everyone else to be in a good place. It all flows from you.
It does, yeah.
So, and it does, and people think it's selfish, which is wild, It's not selfish to look after yourself.
No. Absolutely
it's
not.
It's kind and loving.
And teaching your children that.
Oh, yeah.
Teaching them from a young age. How important is that? They're going to, have that really important tool to help them in this crazy world.
Yes, exactly. They need it.
They do.
So could you share some regular rituals or practices that you do, it doesn't have to be daily, but things that you couldn't live without now, that you keep you aligned?
Yeah. Every day I ground. So I feel that's really important, particularly working in, the energetic realm and having a spiritual life. is that we can get lost in that because it feels so amazing. But it's really important to be grounded because we are earthly beings. We need to be grounded. We need that energy. Then I connect in every day and protect myself and all my loved ones. That's really important to me because, I want to protect everybody, but personally for myself, it's really important because when you're attuned to this energy, you're like a bright light. So people are drawn to you, their energies are drawn to you, and you will wear yourself out if you don't protect yourself against that and protect your energy. Then I do meditation, mindfulness meditation every single day, even if it's just for a minute. That is, that's really important, that every day I check in and I know where I am and how I'm feeling every day. And then at the end of that, I will do self-healing and work on myself. So that's my everyday. And reading's really important. I've always got a stack of books. Some of the books I've read before, some of the books are brand new. And I set myself like 15 minutes a day, and I'll always do more than 15 minutes, but it's that I've set that 15-minute time, and I can always find 15 minutes, but I'll always go on for longer. If you think you've got to read, sit down and find an hour, I'll never find that. So I find that that's really important. And I also find that when I'm reading those books, sometimes I'm not drawn back to it because I've found what I needed to find in that book.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's okay to put that book down, and that's all I needed for now.
Yeah.
Because I'm drawn back to them again and again later, a couple of years later, and then I'll see the next thing that I need to see. So it's like, that's
so
a really important. Yeah, are you the same?
I'm exactly the same. I'm like, why am I not finishing these?
You've got what you need, but you'll come back to it. You'll go back. You'll pick it up, and then the next thing, if there's something else for you. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you so much, Lynn. This has been amazing.
Oh, you're welcome. It's been lovely.